Hey everybody, it's Friday. We made it again. And I am tired. I think most of us are tired after this long week. And we're heading into where I live, daylight savings. What whose light is it saving? I don't I, no matter how many times this thing gets explained to me, and it was had to do with farming and the things, I just feel like there's not enough daylight. That's what I feel like when you're in the Midwest and it's November. It's just like every single day feels like it lops about 10 minutes off your daylight. So that's where I'm at. But I was very productive this week. I have gotten a lot of things done, and then I've not gotten things done. And that always like leaves me with this kind of uneasiness. Tell me in the comments what you accomplished this week. I want to hear from people what you think you were able to accomplish this week. Every week we accomplish something. I mean, just the fact that you're there all 7 of the days means you accomplished something. And yet I think that we're all really, really hard on ourselves about what it is that we get done. So today I set aside, it's an admin day. It's something I set aside every other week so that I can get some stuff done for Learn to Love Your Story. I, work a primary job as an individual therapist in the Minneapolis metro area. And I do that most days of the week, right? So this is kind of my side hustle. And I don't give myself a ton of time to do creative work. And so today was going to be a little creative work time. Luckily, I had done a production day the day before, so I did get in my video recording, and I'll have to do the editing yet for that. But I had high hopes that I was going to do a little bit more writing today. Writing is kind of a pastime for me more than anything. I just really like to write. But I have kind of an agenda on my writing. I'm trying to get some stuff out before the holiday season really gets underway so that I can offer some things for you, my followers. So it didn't happen. Just didn't happen today. But let me tell you what I did accomplish today. Today, I was able to talk to 2 people for more like an hour for one, more than an hour for the other, close friend of mine. I was able to counsel them and talk through some things with them that was both helpful for me and helpful for them, right? So kind of tit for tat, right? Quid pro quo. You're getting a little bit, you're giving a little bit. It's not necessarily work, and it's also, people so it's a fun in that capacity, right? And I'm sure was really helpful to those 2 people. I know it was helpful to me that I got to talk to them, and I'm sure it was really helpful for both of them. And I also spent a couple hours with my 18-year-old applying for colleges, which if any of you have ever done this, you would rather pry out your eyeball with a fork. Can we talk about it? Like, seriously, the most monotonous of things to do. I had to have this cup because of that. This one is the most unassuming, but my favorite because it's so me. I know it's backwards, but it says, "Oh, for fuck's sake," which sorry if you don't like swearing. I love to swear, and anybody who knows me knows that about me. And so this just entertains me ad nauseum. So anyway, it was a lot, guys. It was a lot. But that right there, what is that? So like, for probably 5-ish hours of my day were helping other people, helping myself a little bit, conversations, not creative work. Okay. And I get to the end of a day like today, and I have this uneasy feeling. And I don't know if you, but I get to the end of my day on a day like this, and I've done a lot of things. That's a lot to have accomplished in one day, quite frankly. And I have more things that I want to do. And I'm reminded of Dr. Adam Grant, who is they call him an IO psychologist, which is industrial organization psychologist, big fancy term he does a lot of studying and teaching in the realm of business, like how to help you operate a team and motivate a team. And he talks about this concept, and this is why I point this out, about it isn't really a lack of motivation that people can't get to things. It's a lack of capacity. It's a lack of actual hours in the day, if we're being serious, right? This is not that you're in, you know, what he's researching, that your teams don't want to do things, or they don't have great ideas, or, you know, they don't see ways that they could help improve things. It's that there literally is only so much time in the day itself. So I talked to you about this today because I wanted to talk about self-care. And as we head into the holiday season, I think it's really important that we be really honest with ourselves about our capacity, right? We want to be able to do all the things. It isn't that we don't have this great idea in our head of how we're going to do this for the holidays or how we're going to do that. We want to do those things. And it may be that we don't have the actual hours in the day to accomplish all the stuff, right? So did you know that one of the ways that you can create self-care is by taking things away? I know, it seems kind of weird. I call it boundaries, but honestly, it's basically looking at your usual day and really saying to yourself, like, where is my priority? Where is it that my time is best spent and is best in alignment with what my values are? So for instance, for me, talking with friends today, way more important. Helping them out, getting a little bit for myself, way more important. For me, spending 2 hours on the day that I had, you know, set aside for my own stuff, for my 18-year-old, and trying to find which colleges that are gonna best fit. And we had done a bunch of research on with this area of study that he's really excited about called sports management. And we had found 6 colleges, even just in our state, that really match up with what he wants. And, you know, a couple out of state really match up with what he wants. And so that seemed like a much better use of my time. Doesn't mean that I don't want to be able to do this creative work, but I have only so much time. And if I get hard on myself at the end of this day about what I didn't do, instead of acknowledging what I did do, I could really end up in a lousy spot, you guys. Now, it doesn't also mean that I won't get to that creative stuff, that I won't make that time at another time in my day, today, if I can yet. Probably not, because it's 5 o'clock, or on another day, right? But what I have to do each and every time is really look at, I'm a finite resource. There's only so much of me to go around. Time is a finite resource. There's only so much of it in one day. What is it that really, if I place my value there, I will accomplish more? And so that's what I decided today. And I actually feel really good about it, even though I didn't get to, you know, some of the things that I was excited to be able to get started as well. You just can't do all the things. You can't have all the fun all the time, you know? If you were a little kid and you went to Disney World, doing each land in one day is a stupid accomplishment if you've done it, because you probably didn't entertain yourself at all. You have to do kind of like Disneyland one day and you know, the Epcot Center the other time, and MGM Studio, whatever the things are. You can't do it all at once. And so to hold yourself accountable to that high of a standard, that is where you're crippling yourself. And it is an act of self-care to recognize that you're holding yourself to an unreasonable standard and bring that standard down. And we do that with an act of self-compassion, just being kind and understanding towards ourselves, and understanding that we are a finite resource and there's only so much time, and allowing that for ourselves. It's like a big old permission slip, right? So Dr. Natalie today is really just writing out a big old permission slip. And I just don't think that we talk enough about these kind of unsung heroes in self-care. When we think self-care, we usually think about something we're adding in. There's great things that we can add in that are self-care. we're not always talking about the kind of not so sexy side of it, which is setting boundaries with our time, setting boundaries with how much energy we apply to any one thing, setting boundaries or intention around what things we do apply our energy to, or even allow to have extra energy go towards if it was unplanned. And I really think that this is where you should begin in any kind of self-care routine, really, honestly. If you're paying attention to what it is that you have to do, and you're looking at which line up with my values and kind of triaging from the beginning what you need to do, you have a better, more, it feels more balanced. It doesn't mean everything gets done. And it doesn't mean at the end of this day that I don't still feel like, oh, I wish I could have. But then I turn my mind to, but look at what I did. Like, that's a lot of work that I just did. And it was really beneficial to people. And that for me is a value much higher than giving my time and space to this creative work that I want to do. I love writing. But it's a personal journey, and it's a personal fill me back up kind of a thing. And I just wanted to give the time to enjoying, people more today, enjoying my tribe more today than I wanted to give to something else. So these unsung heroes are, if you're taking that, look at your schedule and you're like, there aren't enough hours that I could actually accomplish all these things. And you're giving yourself the permission to take things off. That's self-care. And it's some of the most powerful self-care that you can do. There is no amount of other things to fill you back up when really what we're talking about is a lack of capacity. There just aren't enough hours in the day, or there just isn't enough energy in your life to be able to accomplish all the things. I know you have the motivation. I know you have the creativity. I know that you really want to do it. And you're just not going to be able to do all those things. So you can decide what comes off that plate, or the plate will decide for you. And that is really how life operates, right? And you can come to the end of one of these days and focus on what you didn't get accomplished and really beat yourself up about it. And then it robs from the next thing in your day. Dinner for me, right? Picking up my child from school and daycare. Like, I could be mad about it and keep thinking about it and take up, rental space in my brain. And then I'm not enjoying this next thing. And you can see how cumulatively over time, especially during stressful times in your life, you really start to carry a lot of weight with you. And that over time starts to limit the time and capacity and energy level that you have at all to be applying towards things. So if you want to help future you be able to get to things like the creative work that you want to do, right? For instance, that's, my example today. You have to be setting these boundaries in the moment. You have to be giving yourself a big fat permission slip to say, I only have this many hours today. So today I'm going to sit down with these people and I'm going to do that stuff. And if there happens to be some time left over, great. And if there isn't, totally fine. I'm making the choice that these are more important today, given what I'm evaluating. And then that, not beating myself up about it because I gave myself a permission slip to do it, then becomes a future investment in time when I could get to that stuff, because I haven't been beating myself up and missing out on other parts of my life in between, which then has me beating up and, missing out on parts of my life in the future that I could be using towards some of these things I missed today. It's an unsung hero. It is the non-sexy side of self-care. And it is absolutely imperative that you start to get really intentional about what gets done and what doesn't get done, about where your energy goes and where it does not go. And this is true in relationships, in time management, in all of the things in our life. We are a finite resource. We are super valuable. Our time is super valuable. And I know that some of us that really struggle with self-confidence struggle with that concept, right? And it's really how, we can get exploited by ourselves and others to say yes to everything, because we think we're a human doing. and that our value is in what our work product is out in the world, or, you know, how well we cared if we're a caretaker. That is not where your worth lies. Your worth was already there to begin with. And if you're struggling with stuff like this, I really strongly encourage you to start and think about yourself as the vessel that does the work that you're going to go do in the world. If you really want to do good work and be a good caretaker or have good human doing work products, you need to start by taking care of the worker and not the work. And so one of the ways you can do that, not sexy, is just by creating boundaries around what it is you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, and how much energy you're applying to it. And reassessing that all the time, right? And making sure that it's really in alignment with where your values are, not in alignment with where culture's values are, family's values are, religion's values are for what you need to do. Now, I hope that you're living in alignment with most of your religious and cultural and family values anyhow, and so they kind of are the same thing. Most of the time, for most of us, they are. But there are times when that is not the case. And for women in midlife, for women in general, I can tell you that we have been given a really shitty memo that says that we are supposed to be taking care of everybody else and us last. That our value is really hinged on how much caretaking that we do, a human service to the others. And that once that's over, then we can do some self-care. And I'm telling you, it's actually flip that. Part of the self-care is how and when you're going to apply what you apply in energy to those things. And until you really shore that up, you're really just giving 50% of yourself, 20% of yourself, 30% of yourself. If you want to give 100% of yourself to all those things, it is only your job, nobody else's, to make sure to protect your time and energy. And this is how you do it. I am going to be doing a talk on self-care Tuesday night, November 9th. So if you are interested in anything that I just was talking about, I'll have in the comments a place to sign up, but I'm part of the Women of Brilliance Summit, and I'll actually be kicking it off, and it's an entire summit, so 6 days, 6 experts in their fields. These women truly are brilliant, by the way. They are going to be talking just about self-care. So if any of this is resonating for you, like, ooh, I'm pretty crappy at this. I haven't been doing this. They're going to be talking about things like the power of no. Hello. That's important to setting boundaries, right? They're going to be talking about, you know, harnessing the power of your relationships as a self-care tool. Like, I'm so excited about that. Dr. Devin Wolf will be talking about that. Bridget Sobis will be talking about the power of no. And I'm in. Like, I want to watch the people that are doing this summit just as much as I want to participate in it. You know, the next week, so that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. The next week, it'll be on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday again. We've got Heather Hornig, and she is going to talk about how to really get in alignment with your energy type, your energy source as a woman, and how that really, in particular for mothers, helps you to be able to know how to create all of this boundary that I'm talking about. Like, it really can guide you on this. I know how my energy flows. And so if I know that, then I know where I need to shore things up and where I can apply more energy to things, right? Nancy Deutsch is going to be talking about the power of our own intuition. Let me just tell you, ladies, I know you've been denying it. So if you, like, any of this resonates for you, she's going to be on, I got to think about this, 16th, 17th, the 17th. So, right? And then it'll all be wrapped up with Jennifer Zenz Olson from Laughing Lotus Wellness talking about how to really live into our purpose, how self-care is so important in how we do that and how we live into our purpose, and how once we're in alignment, like I've talked, right, you are actually relinquishing less energy and building more energy. So you have more to give around, right? You want to know about this stuff, you want to talk to these experts. So you're going to want to come to their seminars. They are from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this coming week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the following week, and that's the 9th to the 11th and the 16th to the 18th. So I will have the sign up for that in the comments when I get off here. And so you can sign up as soon as you hear this, right? But self-care is so pivotal, and especially as we're heading into this holiday season, because I know your time is going to be kind of pulled various ways, right? So take care of you. That's my gift to you. Listen to some of the stuff I've said here and just apply that, setting up boundaries. Come to our Women of Brilliance Self-Care Summit. Hear a little bit more there about these particular areas and ways you can use those tools for yourself. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. I'll see you next Friday live at 5.